Hi, I'm Alex.
I'm Julie.
I'm Knox.
And this is our podcast about college basketball. It's called Anything is Possible in March. We are going to cover conference championships, who's in, who's out, bracketology, and March Madness, of course. And we're going to go all the way down until we find one lucky champion, which will be crowned the national champions of men's basketball.
Championship of the world!
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting, I feel like. So let's dive right into things.
So we're just going to start off with, why not, a really good division. So,
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
We've got Purdue, Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Maryland. Those are all the ranked teams. And then Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana. Indiana is not the best team, but they're still good. They've beaten a couple of good teams. And then Michigan with an amazing resume, and they've beaten a lot of good teams, but they've had a couple of unfortunate losses. But I think that they're going to pull out against all of these teams in the Big Ten and win.
Yeah, Michigan, wow. Over the past few years, they've created a winning vibe, not just dating back to last year, but they went all the way to the national championship last year, which I thought was a total surprise. But they're a great team. They've lost some games. Like, they fell a game to Penn State. They also lost to Iowa. And,
Wisconsin.
Also Wisconsin. And, they're still a really good team, but I think it comes down to, how can they do against their last big test at Michigan State? And if they can win in a very, very crazy environment, I think they have a chance of winning this Big Ten championship.
Yes.
Yeah, Michigan being led by their sophomore guard, Jordan Poole.
Wow, he's a really good player.
He's averaging 12.9 points per game, and their freshman forward, actually, doesn't play like a forward, but their freshman forward, Ignas Brazdeikis.
And may I say, their points allowed is second in the NCAA, 58.3
You sure it's not per game?
points allowed. Yeah.
Per game.
They got a lot of really good people. I think that Michigan is now back where they used to be with the Fab Five and going back to those national highs. All of a sudden now they look like they're doing really good,
yeah.
Which is really good. So let's head over to let's start talking about their crosstown and state rivals, Michigan State Spartans.
They're third in their conference. They're going in at home against Nebraska, and then they face their rivals, which is a tough schedule for their last two games, but also they're both at home, so I think that they should be able to pull it out unless Michigan starts hitting threes and stopping them on defense.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
also one big thing is that I feel like Michigan State is going to be very fired up against Nebraska and Michigan State just because they lost by 1 against Indiana. But they got a great team. Cassius Winston, their guard, averaging 19.2 points per game, leading them in assists with 7.6 and steals with 1.1. And
they've also got their junior forward, Nick Ward. Dropping 15 points a game.
Yeah.
And 6 rebounds a game.
Yeah. And they say that defense wins championships. You can't forget about rebounds per game. Kenny Goins.
Yep. He's averaging
Xavier Tillman.
Yeah.
Grabbing 7 a game and 9 points.
Yeah, and also about Kenny Goins, he's averaging 9 rebounds a game, which is, I think, it's really good for a forward. But also Joshua Langford is averaging 15 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 2.3 assists. While shooting 84% from the free throw line and 44.3% and 40% from 3-point line. So his numbers are pretty good. They got a real good team and they got a great coach in Tom Izzo.
But the only problem with them is they've lost some I mean, not lost. They don't have strength and schedule. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
They've beat Iowa. That's not that great this season. But they still are 23-6. They lost to Texas, Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, and may I mention Purdue, Indiana, and Illinois were 3 games in a row that they lost, and then Indiana twice, which is just ridiculous, and then Kansas.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I feel like right now, Michigan and Michigan State could have a very good rematch and possibly the semifinals or possibly that conference championship.
Yes, but right now, let's go to the leading Purdue. I mean,
Yeah. Purdue,
15-3 in conference, 22-7 in non-conference. I mean, in overall.
I mean, Purdue, over the past 3 years has, they've done a really good job. They've done a really good job with that program over there. They have had some good games. They beat Michigan State. They beat them by 10, which is pretty good. They beat Wisconsin and they beat Iowa, but they did lose to Notre Dame, who was not doing great, and they did also lose to Texas by 4 at Texas.
They lost to Michigan State, which is a loss, and then they also lost to Maryland, but it was at Maryland.
Yeah.
But also they run on offense a 4-1, and on defense they run a 3-2 zone.
Yeah, it's worked. You can obviously tell it's working for them.
Yes,
just
and
because they're
that
top
3-2
5.
zone is a difficult defense to play against. Like kids that are
big and tall.
right, like not really kids, like
Grown men.
right.
Yeah.
It's a hard defense.
Yeah.
They did lose to Texas, which is not a good loss. But they're an amazing team. There's really nothing else to say about them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will win. I think that they will go on to maybe the finals, but then lose to Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. Purdue, their defense, I guess, isn't the best. They're giving up 67 points a game.
Wow.
But they're just dropping so many. They've got so many great players around, like just across the board.
Yeah.
Score.
They've got
Carson Edwards.
Yeah, averaging 23.5 a game, and also averaging 3.4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.5 steals as a guard. That's
hard.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
He's really, I think,
there are some
developed in this role.
post players who don't get that many rebounds a game.
Yeah.
So now let's go to Wisconsin, the 4th in the conference.
Yeah.
They are doing pretty decent. They're 12-6 in conference and 20-9 and overall. They've beat Iowa. This is a great loss against Virginia. They lost by 7.
Yeah.
And
Sick.
7.
Yeah, they lost by 7, 46-53.
But they also lost to Maryland, Purdue,
Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah, but I want to say one thing about that Wisconsin-Virginia game. Wisconsin, they held Virginia to, they really played a good defensive game. And the good thing about Wisconsin is whenever you watch Wisconsin and Michigan play, they're teams that just play straight up basketball. They don't foul that much. So, when you watch that game, it's like, it's a 40-minute game. Yeah, and, Wisconsin won 64-54, and then, they lost that other game. They actually didn't play them, but they are a good team. They're tournament caliber, and
But I think they will. I guess it kind of helps to have a 6'10" senior on your team.
Yeah.
17.8 points, 10 rebounds.
Wow.
And 5 assists, and also 1.1 steals per game. Ethan Happ is doing it all. He was probably one of the one of the best players coming into the Big Ten this year, and I think he's really stepped in that spotlight and shined very, very brightly.
So now let's go to Maryland. Maryland is 12-7, and surprisingly, they went down in rank today for the AP polls. So now they're 24, going back to 24, but they've had some really good wins and even losses. They're 21-9 overall. They lost to Virginia 76-71.
That was one of the best.
One of the
One of the best games Virginia's had all year.
Yeah, and Maryland also. I mean, because Maryland put up a dogfight in that game. I mean, they gave it all they got, but I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, Virginia's a great team, but Maryland, I think Maryland's really stepped up a little bit more and said we want to capture the season. And try to put themselves back in the spotlight.
They beat Nebraska. They beat Indiana. They beat Wisconsin. They're in a hard division, and they keep on pulling through, even though they got swept by Michigan. But both the one at their home was pretty close. But other than that, there's a lot of good players on the.
So next up, we have the ACC. The ACC is one of the more stacked conferences that you'll find. They've got,
To say the least.
Yeah, definitely.
They've got UVA, they've got North Carolina, they've got Duke, they have FSU, they have Virginia Tech, Syracuse, who's okay, NC State, they were ranked for a little bit, and Louisville. Just great teams.
Yeah, you're right.
But
And any other team, if you look at the look at the bottom of it, if you like Miami and Georgia Tech, maybe even Boston College would be great in other divisions.
Yeah.
right, it's just they've got to play like Duke twice,
Yeah.
Carolina
Yeah.
twice.
On the road and at home. So, but I mean, ACC is a good conference. No doubt about that. I think probably the best one out there because yeah. So
Well, let's start the ACC off with Syracuse.
yeah.
Syracuse is a very one-player-led team.
Yeah.
Say the least.
Yeah.
Tyus Battle, averaging 17.7 points a game.
Yeah, but they
another-
do have a great win against Duke.
Yeah. OT
when
thriller.
when Duke was doing good.
Yeah.
But
they also took down OSU when they were a 16 seed and Louisville at an 18 seed.
They also lost to ODU.
That's
an
not
OSU.
that's not a great loss to take to Old Dominion.
To say the least.
But
Yeah.
Tyus Battle is only a junior, so
Yeah, he's-
Syracuse fans get a little bit more of him.
Yeah, I think they will, but
He's always been a great guard
yeah.
and just not a player that you look forward to playing against.
They've got two tough games. Well, they always do to end off.
Yeah.
But they've got UVA
Tonight.
Yeah,
tonight.
70s on ESPN.
So
And
I
then Clemson, who everybody takes for granted, but they are a good team.
yeah.
About the Syracuse UVA game tonight, I think it's gonna be a good game because Syracuse they got a really good home base, so it's always tough for them to to go in there and get a win. So
Yeah, it's a hard
it'll
place
be-
to win.
It'll be a really good game tonight, so looking forward to that.
Next up is Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a team mostly led by Nikhil Alexander Walker, which some people might think of a surprise, being like that they have Justin Robinson, a great senior, and
Kerry Blackshear. Yeah.
who's a very talented player.
Yeah.
But they actually have two really notable wins.
Yep.
Just last week, they had a great win, 5-point win versus Duke at home. And earlier this year, they held NC State under 25 points.
Wow.
At NC State.
That I just think that's crazy, but
Especially in a college That sounds like a middle school basketball score.
Exactly.
47-24.
I mean,
And it sounds like the one of the middle school popped off, and one of the middle school didn't go too well. But they've got 2 upcoming games. One that's really hard and one that's not so hard. First, they play FSU, which is they are 4th in the division, and then they play Miami.
Miami.
Who everybody takes for granted, but they have a great little guy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Chris Lights.
Yeah.
But he's a great young talented player.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think that they're going to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, but one thing about Virginia Tech, I mean, they've really shared the scoring this year. Nikhil Alexander-Walker.
He stepped up.
Yeah, he's averaging 16.4. Kerry
Especially
Blackshear.
after the injury.
With Justin Robinson. Yeah, and then Kerry Blackshear averaging 15 a game. When Justin Robinson was in, he was averaging 14. Ahmad Hale with averaging 13 points per game. And lastly, Ty Outlaw bringing out with 8.4.
But sadly, we still have to talk about the losses that they've had. They've lost against the worst in the they lost to Penn State.
They lost to Penn State.
They lost to Louisville. They lost to Clemson. They lost to Virginia by 6. And those are all their losses.
Yeah.
But they're still not a bad team, to say the least.
Yeah.
They're 22-6, 11-5 in their hard conference.
And they had a very big jump up this week in the
they did
rankings. They had 4 spots.
Yeah, and also one thing about the Virginia Tech game, it was a great game in the first half, but Virginia Tech went 2 for 36 on 3 for 36 on 3-point shooting.
That'll kill you.
That is absurd. That's just that's terrible. I mean, for the AC, that's just terrible.
Almost as bad as their game against NC State.
yeah.
So the next team on our list is Duke. Duke has had 4 very big wins.
Yeah.
They took down number 2 Kentucky, the first game of the year.
By 34.
Yeah.
It was number 1 versus number 2.
Mm-hmm. Great win.
Yep.
They took down number 8 Auburn.
Yeah.
Who everybody looks over, but they're a good team.
Yeah.
And then
they've taken down UVA.
Twice.
Yes, twice.
At JPJ and at Camden.
They also
unfortunately for Duke, they have lost their number 1 overall pick, Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
But someone to step up is R.J. Barrett. Everybody kind of looked over him with Zion, but I believe R.J. Barrett is the best player on that Duke team.
Yes, I do too. He leads the team for points, average points with 23.1. Their team stats for defense isn't too good, but they don't really need it with their amazing points per game, which is 85.1.
Yeah.
They just destroy any team that comes into their house. And they are going to be, if Zion Williams comes back, here's my question. Will Zion come back in the first place if they make it 3 rounds?
Yeah, if they make it to the finals,
the way I look at it, I do not think Zion Williamson will come back.
Honestly,
I don't think he should, and I don't think he will.
Yeah.
Zion is smart. I know he doesn't take classes at Duke, just like all the other kids on the team, but he's still smart.
That's a good one.
And he should know that he can just go to the NBA. He'll be the number 1 overall pick. Even if he does not come back.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to come back. There's no use risking to hurt himself.
Yeah, like, for him, he's averaging 21.6 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 2.2 steals, and 1.8 blocks. And, yes, he's probably the best player since we've seen, come out of high school, then go to college. since, LeBron. Even though LeBron didn't go to college, he's lived up to that height of, I can be this explosive player at, 6'7", 285 pounds. But I think for him, he's already got that number one pick locked up. So, why go back and, play a couple more games and risk it?
Right.
But also, will Duke fans get mad at him if he doesn't come back? And will he lose some of his fans? Because you've also got to remember, some people like having fans. Some people want that fame. Will he risk it for the biscuit?
So I think that a fan base is always an important thing to have behind you.
Yeah.
But Zion should not risk his own body, his own health, for what the fans want. It should not be up to the fans whether or not Zion stays.
Yeah.
And then another guy I want to talk about on Duke is Trey Jones. He's younger brother of Tyus Jones. They both look like the mascot for Duke.
Yeah, they do.
And Trey Jones is actually one of the best on-ball defenders we've seen in a while. He's a very quick player. He's getting how many steals per game? He's getting 2 steals a game. That's pretty good.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of a mix between Spud Webb and Chris Paul. Small, quick, but he can shoot and he's got the speed like Muggsy Bogues. He's got the shot, and he can also steal just like Chris Paul can. So, I think this kid's got a bright future.
Another team that I want to talk about is UVA.
That'll be controversial.
So UVA is one of the better teams out there right now, with notable wins against a number 9 FSU team. That was a stomping, I believe.
Yeah, that was.
They took down FSU by 13 points, and FSU is not a bad team. That is a good team.
Yeah.
May I mention Grant Kersey with the field goal?
Oh, yes.
percentage?
Grant Kersey, the manager.
The manager. So this is a great story. Grant Kersey is a senior, and he's the team manager. And
Not really.
so Tony Bennett, the head coach of UVA, decided, hey, this kid has been working his tail off at practices, helping with the team, keeping our players healthy. I'm going to say he can suit up and play at home games. And the second game that Grant Kersey appears
Coppin State, yep.
against Coppin State, Grant Kersey gets the ball right wing, pulls up a 3, and drains it. It was one of
The best
moments in UVA sports history.
But yeah,
Right next to a lot of their other great wins. and
Yeah,
other things.
UVA.
No.
Yeah.
I think Grant Kersey beats it all with the story, with everything. But
But
their
even though
only
he's-
2 losses is against
To do.
Duke. I think that's just, honestly, it's about the rivalness of it.
I think it's
Duke got
just
a
about-
lot more hyped up for the game.
I think it's about Duke having better bigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke-
In the end, it came down to Duke just having. Actually, it just came down to RJ Barrett making 200 threes that
He
game.
hit 6 threes and ended the game with 30 points. What are you gonna do about that?
You can't guard him up close because then it'll go right.
You got the
That is
Canadian
why
Kobe
I think
Bryant.
RJ Barrett is so great.
I think RJ Barrett is probably the best player in this country.
But
Okay,
also
but-
some notable players on
let's-
UVA. Kyle Guy. He is straight out of Indiana. Mr. Man Bun is what they used to call him. He shaved that
Yeah.
off.
The
But he
fans
is-
did not like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But he's a great shooter.
But
A very
what round do you-
consistent shooter. But if I think personally, if he went to the NBA, he would not be a first round pick.
Yes, I agree
and that's
with
why
that.
he should stay.
Yes. What year is he?
He's a junior.
Yeah.
Redshirt junior.
So I think he should stay. I think he should stay because he will. no doubtably in my mind will he be second round.
Right.
But he will not be that first round. The glory of first round. The hype of first round that you get when you get it.
Yeah.
UVA's first round pick this year, something that UVA hasn't actually had in a while. DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, DeAndre
This is a
Hunter.
man who isn't getting as much attention as he deserves because he went to Virginia.
Mhm.
And he's averaging 15 points a game. And he can shoot the three, like, no hesitation.
Yeah.
He can't play his zone against UVA because they'll give him the ball at the high post and he'll just hit a jumper in your face.
Yeah.
And don't forget that he can posterize you like,
Yeah.
with the flick of a finger.
One thing about him is that he's a 6'8" guard, and you don't see that a lot, but he's averaging he's 46% from the 3-point line, which leads the team, and I think he's a real explosive player. Also, don't forget about one of their other really good players. They got a transfer out from Alabama, Braxton T. I mean, really dynamic player on the defensive side of the ball, leading the team with 5.7 rebounds, and I mean they got it all going on over at UVA.
And another notable that has, like, there's been the whisper going around that he could be a first-round pick is Ty Jerome.
Yeah.
This kid has great range. I'm talking, he pulls the ball all the way back over his head and lets it fly, but the second it's out of his hand,
It's straight
if
in.
he's not following the ball to get that rebound, he's made it.
Yeah, he's already back to half court starting to play defense.
And another
He's
great
just
thing
a
about
great
him,
all-around player, in my opinion.
and he's another guy. He's 6'6", and he's the UVA point guard,
Yeah.
which is good for him because he can. Another one of his specialties is he goes straight to the hoop and kind of like takes like a hook shot off the glass, like a high hard
it's a great
layup.
shot.
But
It's a
also,
great shot.
this is one of the problems with Kyle Guy is he doesn't play as well defense as the rest of the UVA squad, and that's why I think that he wouldn't be a first round pick.
Yeah.
But now what do you think about going to the?
Well, one more person I want to
Oh, yeah.
point out about UVA is Kihei Clark. This man is a 5'9", generous 5'9", and he is just a great defender. I mean, he is small, he is scrappy.
He's great on defense, but he is absolutely tearing it up on turnovers on the offensive side of the ball. He had 8 turnovers alone against Miami. I mean, I'm not questioning his defensive ability, but I think over the offseason, if he spent some time, working
on his jump shot and fundamental passes.
Yeah,
he
he'll
could
be a great player in the future.
But, so fun fact about Kihei is the only reason he's going to UVA now is because Tony Bennett went to scout another player.
Yeah.
And he saw Kihei playing scrappy defense, and he was like, that's the kind of player I want on my team.
Honestly, I think UVA can go as deep as the championship and, either match up against
Duke or North Carolina.
Duke or North Carolina, because Duke and North Carolina, great teams.
And
one
FSU
problem
can
that
sneak on in there.
One problem that people have been mentioning with UVA is how well they do in tournaments, like how well they've gotten beat against UMBC, number 16 seed. Well, don't interrupt. They got beat in round of 32 2 years ago against Michigan State.
So you bring up a good point. UVA has never really been that great in tournament play, except for the Ralph Sampson era, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Except.
And I think for UVA, it just comes down to a lot of the years UVA has a younger team.
Yeah.
But this year, UVA's lineup is all like juniors and seniors.
And sophomores also. You got a couple sophomores playing also.
And these are just great athletes.
Yeah.
Still, honestly, I don't see them going far in the tournament. I don't see them going to the Final Four. Maybe generosity brings them to Sweet 16, but
I'm gonna disagree with you just because you're a VCU fan. Honestly, no, I'm a UVA fan. I'm gonna try to be as most unbiased as possible.
y'all are both UVA fans.
Exactly.
Holla!
So what I think is that yes, UVA has lost to Duke twice, but honestly, I think they can take that that frustration, that doubt that people, they said, how far will they go? Honestly, I think that they control their own destiny in this tournament. They can work as hard as they want. They can go as hard as they want. They control their own destiny in this tournament. I think they can go.
Wasn't everybody though?
Yeah, but they lost in the first round as a 1 seed against the UMBC. So I just think that
University of Maryland backup college.
Yeah.
Backup college.
I mean, also.
That's just where they go if they don't get into Maryland, right?
No, that's not what that stands for.
But yeah, but I think they can go as far as they want to.
Okay, now should we go to UNC?
The loss, yes, I think the loss to UMBC last year motivated all of our guys to get bigger, to get better.
Yeah.
Now,
let's
off of UVA.
Thank the Lord.
We're gonna talk about UNC.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good North Carolina Tar
Pretty
Heels.
good.
I disagree with
Pretty
you.
good.
This team is, I say, one of the best teams that we've had, or seen, sorry, not had, since that squad that they had when they lost to Villanova in the national championship.
I agree with Alex. This is an amazing team, and no offense to you guys, but I think that UNC could beat Virginia in the conference championship because, no offense to you guys, but UNC has a lot more to play for than you guys do. You guys don't really have to because you guys, if I'm correct, you guys won the last two.
The ACC tournament?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Y'all have won the last two, and UNC is going to come into that game. We're going to beat them. We're going to crush them. This is unacceptable that they've won twice in a row in one of the hardest conferences out there.
well,
But they still have to get past Duke.
Okay,
Which is a team that they can put a spanking on.
yeah.
let's just go back a couple weeks. Well, not even 2 weeks ago, was it?
Yeah, it was about 2
where
weeks
they
ago,
beat number one, and this is the game where he gets hurt. Zion Williams gets hurt. 88-72. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a huge win.
So we're a little bit different than ESPN because we don't, we're not gonna go all crazy over Zion. What's gonna,
believe it or not.
yeah, that's all ESPN really wants to talk about. But this Carolina team, Luke May had 32 points and 15 rebounds.
I was about to say, Luke May is somebody who deserves just as much attention as Zion Williams in his game.
Yes, I agree with him.
He's averaging 14 points a game. He's a 6'8" senior who I think could have gone to the NBA in his sophomore year.
Oh yeah,
And instead of being like one of those players who just leaves his team and decides, oh, I'm too good for you guys, I'm going to go play for the NBA.
Zion.
He decides, hey, I'm going to be a team player. I'm going to go get an education.
Yeah.
Which Duke players aren't so fond of, to say the least.
Well,
but Luke May is also leading the rebounds with 10 exactly rebounds a game. And if he just gets some assists and some
but he's a player that doesn't need.
He's averaging a double-double per game.
He doesn't need to get assists.
Yeah.
If he can get that ball out to Cameron Johnson.
Yeah, and
he
Kobe
can get
White.
a triple-double.
But I think one
player I want to talk about, Kobe White.
Yeah.
He is a great athlete.
Yeah, I think one player that quite hasn't lived to the hype is Nasir Little, number five prospect coming out. Quite hasn't lived up to it. We'll see where he lands. But I think this North Carolina team, they can. I say they can go Final Four, Elite Eight. I mean, they just got a great program.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then one other team I want to touch up on quickly is this Florida State team.
Yeah.
They are a very underestimated team, and their team is led by. All right, I was not going to even try to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Mufiondu Kabengele.
He's a 7'4" center from
6'10".
Oh, okay. There's one guy on the team 7'4", I know that. But I mean, they talk about strength of schedule. You lost a buzzer beater to Duke. You got Carolina. I mean, they have the number.
They're
one.
amazing, but
They're just an unlucky team. They lose at the end of games. They can't finish.
SOS in the country. So I mean, we'll see where the ACC leads us. All right, let's head on to the Big East. So the Big East is Big East is kind of a joke this year. I mean, because you have
they're usually good with Georgetown, but this year not so much.
Yeah, Georgetown.
A Villanova team who in the past has been
tearing it up in this conference.
Just a team that everybody wants to watch.
Yeah.
And this team, and they've never really been carried by a player.
No.
But this year, Phil Booth is carrying the team to their 23 seed.
Yeah.
Or to their 23 top 25.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova, they're projected to go as a 6 seed. I think their caliber wins come against Marquette, really good team, Justin Howard. Marquette's done a really good job. Justin Howard's kind of carrying their team a little bit, but they're a really good team.
Let's look at their caliber wins. They don't
really have any.
Yeah.
But for Georgetown, Georgetown's got.
They did take down number 10 Marquette.
Yeah.
That was their biggest win.
Yeah. But also for Georgetown
and number 14 Florida State.
Yep. Yeah. For Georgetown, they got a former Georgetown legend in Patrick Ewing as their coach now. But I mean, they kind of got.
I'd play for him.
Yeah, they got people They got 3 people leading their team, and Jesse Govin averaging 18.3 points per game.
May I please mention the win against Villanova a couple of weeks ago?
They are Villanova.
We're talking Georgetown. Georgetown beat Villanova 85-73. That is ridiculous. That is off the charts.
But
they came back. They got beat by 12, and then they beat Villanova by 12. When Villanova was ranked 17, they've also beat St. John's, which is a good school.
Yeah. Georgetown, I mean, their biggest wins are against Villanova, Richmond, and Illinois.
Richmond? That's one of their bigger wins?
Yeah.
How bad do you have to be for beating Richmond to be a big win?
I don't know. But they have 3 big players.
They don't even get televised.
Yeah, they have 3 big players in Jesse Govin.
Unless they're playing VCU.
Yeah, they have 3 big players in Jesse Govin, averaging 18.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 1.4 assists, 1 steal, and 1.2 blocks, and a man with unlimited range in Matt McClung, averaging 13 points, 2.6 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 1.9 turnovers. And last but not least, we have James.
His name sounds like Matt McClang.
Yeah, James Akinjo with averaging 13 points per game, 3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1 steal, and 3.1 turnovers per game. I think they could sneak into this tournament, but I don't
see them being a high seed though.
Yeah, I see them maybe a 12.
Yeah.
Maybe if they get in.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette. Marquette's a team where they've really stepped out of the shadow over the past couple of years. But I think that they could easily win this conference championship and just beat Villanova. They have Marcus Howard really doing it all with averaging 25.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal as a guard.
Come on, man. Let some other guys get some points.
Yeah.
I wonder, does anybody else on their team, has anybody else on that team even scored?
Yeah.
They started?
Yeah, they have Sam Hauser is leading the rebounds to 7.0 rebounds per game.
Ooh,
with 15 points. I mean,
and they're big
in the whole season?
Yeah, Marcus Howard is just he's just doing it all. And actually, they have two brothers on the same team, Sam Hauser and Joey Hauser, who are both forwards. So that's kind of interesting.
And they're big
Same house, same position.
Yeah. Let's go on to
They're really the same person too.
yeah. Let's go on to
their big wins are Kansas State and Wisconsin.
yeah. Let's go on to the Seton Hall Pirates. So Seton Hall is projected to go to a 12 seed.
Are they really?
Yeah, but I mean their best wins are against Maryland, Kentucky, Miami, and Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Oh, isn't Hawaii like the Fighting Rainbow Warriors?
Yeah,
team?
Hawaii Fighting Rainbow Warriors. Let's go.
Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
And
That's right there.
Miles Powell is kind of doing it all with 22.3 points per game and 2 steals per game and 2.6 assists and 3.1 turnovers. He's doing great from the free throw line, 85.8 from field goal range, 45%, and from 3-point, 35.0. And you have, I'm not going to pronounce that last name because it is probably
The Sandro guy?
Yeah.
Sandro Mamukashvili.
Averaging
Kashvili?
9.7.5.
Really, I think it is.
He's averaging 9 points.
Mamukashvili.
He's averaging
that's
9 points and 7.5 rebounds, 1.6 assists.
Nice,
So,
Julie.
yeah, good job, Julie. So I think
although we kinda dyslexic.
honestly, I think that the conference championships is just going to look like Marquette versus Villanova.
Yeah,
so
that's all.
Well, and also St. John's. They're a pretty decent team, but they should not have won against VCU with that ridiculous call at the end. If
Yeah.
anybody watched that,
I saw
they would
that.
agree
I
with
mean,
me. You can't hit a guy's wrist.
I mean,
But we'll
Is this
talk
bias
about
right
that.
here?
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
yeah. But I mean, what can you do after that game? I mean, but they're a good team, St. John's. I
But
wonder if they can. hit that
They're
10.
probably gonna be in.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But so yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching today's podcast. It has been an amazing time with you guys, and we will see you with a
Special
podcast
guest.
with our special guest. We
Don't-
won't tell
don't
you
give
yet.
her name, Yep. So we'll be back for our next podcast. We hope that y'all enjoyed today's segment. So yeah, we will be posting this on our website. So
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Bye.